So there are more people in this room than were in this room on Tuesday, and let me tell you why. This is something I've not done before. It's called the leveraged progression plan in my mastermind. It's like doing the same thing more than once and getting expert. It's a very, very cool way of doing it. So literally last Tuesday, we finished a 5-week boot camp, which was from all across North America. And then, actually, I'm going to mute the room again because otherwise I'm getting too much stuff going on here. There we go. So those people that just finished the boot camp last Tuesday, obviously I don't just cut and run and say, there you go, see ya. So there's going to be some people who have just finished a 5-week boot camp. And then the other half of the room are people who have just started a 5-week boot camp. So I've never done this before. I've never actually had 2 boot camps run concurrently, but hey, why not? It's good. And so some of you are very seasoned and very mature and social media ninjas already. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, I just started here. You know, what's Facebook again? So yeah, it's a bit of a blend. But Augie and I have got that down pat. We know how to handle people who join a PAC program at no experience and other people that have been doing it for years. And we can all learn from each other. So I'm excited for that. And the principle behind the Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon on the East Coast virtual coffee is exactly that. And you'll find this too. Part of my business strategy growth was to meet people for coffee. And invariably what you wanted to do was build a relationship with a view to hopefully maybe doing business. As my business grew, what was happening was I was getting more and more people who wanted to buy me a cup of coffee to pick my brain. And if you have time and inclination, that's fine. But I was getting to the point that I had more people wanting to buy me coffee than I had hours in the day. And don't get me wrong, I love coffee. But the reality of it is, I can afford to buy my own coffee. So what I used to say to people was, you know, I would love to meet you. I honestly would, but I'm really strapped for time. So here's what I could do for you. If you have a question that you very specifically want to answer from me, let me know what that is, because chances are if you're thinking about it, other people are thinking about it, and I'm going to write a blog or make a video and I will send it to you. If you want to go a little bit deeper, awesome, call me back. And I'm very happy to do a call. And I've changed all of my physical calls now to Zoom. Even in my own city, I sort of begrudge getting in my car now because it's a half an hour trip. It's parking, it's buying the coffee, it's another. So an hour's coffee is at least 2 hours. And you know, that 2 hours is very valuable. So I'm just telling you my perspective on life now. So now after that, then I started doing group programs about 3 years ago. And part of the group program was a live Q&A. And then I had this brainwave. I went, why don't I call my live Q&A a virtual cup of coffee? And depending on where I am in my season of events, sometimes when I've got live events going on, the only people that can join this virtual coffee are people who have paid for that program to make it exclusive. Other times in the year when I don't have a live event going on, I'm just in that season of wherever I'm at, in between successes, if you like. Then I open it up to my entire list of anybody who's been in my program before and just say, hey, if you want to join me for an hour on Thursday mornings, put a cup of coffee or a glass of water or snack in your hand, come hang out for an hour. And that's how I've been growing my list, growing my business, serving as many people as I can in the same 1 hour. And I have found that investing in Zoom Pro, which is what this is, because if you buy Zoom for free, it works just as well, but you only get a 45-minute call and it cuts you off. Whereas if you pay the $20 and get Zoom Pro, your calls can go on for a long, long, long time. You can upgrade to Zoom Webinar. You can do lots of different things for Facebook Live, but this is just called Zoom Pro. And it means I can see all 17 of you right now, which is awesome. I can unmute, I can share a screen. We've got a chat box. And this is the best. And I think, Augie, do you use Zoom for your PAC calls? Sorry, I'll unmute you. One second.
Calls.
Sorry, could you say that again?
We don't use them for our large calls, but we do use them for some of our smaller group calls.
Okay, so some of you may have experienced this. And of course, one to the last week.
We use Maestro as well, Jonathan, because it allows us to do the triads.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we have that capability with Zoom.
You do actually. Yeah, if you Zoom, you can do. You can split people into triads for that too. So that's who we are, and that's what we do. And the great thing is, from a client perspective, you guys are in Florida are all in the real estate investing world. From a North America point of view, I have, just looking in this room right now, I have a child family counseling practice. I have a lady who specializes in helping people get themselves organized. I have a lady who's an image therapist to help you get on stage. I have a lady who sells, for one of the better words, swag. So anything with your logo on or any promotional products is what Anne does. And then, yeah, and then you'll see a thing that says Tamlin Boardroom. This is British Columbia is awash with wood. I mean, 2/3 of our province is forest. It's quite interesting. We also have more water than anybody else too. We sell it. But Tamlin make log homes, and they also make kit homes. So you get the trusses and everything. So you can order a home from Tamlin, have the ground prepared, put the footing in, have this home delivered as a package, and you can be up to lockout, or lock in, whatever the phrase is, within 3 weeks, like a brand new house. And they're selling these house kits, depending on the size of the house, for around $60,000 to $80,000. And someone has the land. They sell most of it into the United States, not into Canada, right? Because of the exchange rate, and it's a very good deal to do that in Canada. And gosh, it's loud out there. And then that's what we do. So it's a blend of people today, and you can see in the Tamlin Boardroom, her name is Joanne, and I'm going to bring Joanne in because last time she was the last person not to get a hot seat because we ran out of time. Hey, Joanne.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. So these guys have just come back from a very, very, very big trade show in Vancouver. It was called the Fall Home Show. They have a booth. They get so many qualified leads from this booth. And out of that, they get a lot of potential leads. What they also do is they work with me, and we do a Google AdWords campaign around keywords. So, and we run that out of state. We run that in Washington State, not British Columbia. And we send people to a landing page. And from that landing page, they can get a whole copy of their book of plans. So all the different types of plans, not in great detail, but good detail, from that in exchange for their name and email. And they, no kidding, I won't give you numbers, but they get hundreds of people sign up for this book every year. And these are qualified leads. So this is where taking social media is to a different level, is to put some money behind it, target a certain audience in a certain area. So you could do this within the state, in a certain province, whatever parish, whatever you would split it up as, and have something to offer of high value that literally brings a good email connection. And from that email connection, you can choose to pick up the phone, or you can choose to follow through with email. But it's a great way of building your list in exchange for giving something of great value. And the conversion rate of sales from this plan book, when somebody calls and said, so I'm on page 36 and I'm looking at the Burns Lake 4-bedroom house. Could you tell me a little bit more about it? They're almost ready to buy at this point. Would you say that's fair, Joanne?
Sorry?
Talking to the Tamlin people here. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Maybe she can't. Oh, she's muted. One sec. How's that? Oh,
There we go.
Try that. Joanne, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, so a little bit about that experience of how you're generating leads.
Yeah, so, I mean, it works really well. Like you said, they're qualified leads. By the time they've asked for a welcome package or asked for a plan book, they're looking for a plan. They've seen something on the website that they like. We have plans on the website, but not all the ones that are in the plan book. And so so therefore they'll go to the plan book and they'll find series of plans. So yeah, by the time they call us, they're a qualified lead. There's no cold calling involved. They're a qualified lead, which is really, really nice. So there's different ways when they get on our website that they come to us, it can be a qualified lead. But by the time they come to us, we know they've got land. We know they usually by the time they download the plan book, they've got land because they know sort of what size house they want, where they want to put it, that kind of stuff.
Fantastic. So just a different strategy on top of regular social media, but it's qualified leads, as you can hear. And, how much is a lead worth? If you can get, and then you're building an email list. So even if they're not ready to buy today, they are thinking about buying. And sometimes the buying price process can be quite long, but totally worth it to build up that list from email. And we'll be talking about that in week 3 of the bootcamp for the guys who are new, but this is what it looks like in practice. I mean, Joanne's been back on this training course, I don't know, 3-4 times, and they keep growing and they keep coming back to upskill their team. So,
Yeah.
So Joanne, did you have a specific question for Hot Seat for today?
Yeah, Mackenzie and I did actually. We're sort of 1/3 of the marketing team here, and the difference between Tamlin and a lot of the people that are in this course, a lot of the people that are in this course, Mac and I were talking, they've built their business on something personal, on something that's happened in their life that they feel needs dealing with in a certain way, or they feel that they can help people do things better. So it's a very personal thing. Whereas we've been in business since 1977. Obviously, Mac and I did not start the company, and it's an older company. So we're trying to walk that fine line between personal. How do we personalize? Like you say, people remember you, not your logo. So how do we personalize that? While walking that fine line, do you know what I mean, Jonathan? It's
Yeah, I do.
hard to,
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to, yeah. And so, so we are trying to figure that out. We've started doing staff profiles on Facebook. We think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I started to try and make my blogs a little bit more interesting, a little bit more personal, so they're not just technical, like we built this house, it has Western red cedar siding. I'm trying to make it a little bit more personal, but it's still walking that fine line when you're a company like us. So that's where Mac and I are kind of struggling.
Yeah, I get it. And what you've been doing the last few weeks of doing, like there was a picture the other day of you in your office, so people could get context around what your beautiful wood-lined office looks like. You had Halloween pictures of people in costume in the office, and you've also been showcasing people within the company. That is really, really good. And then, it is personal in so much as when someone buys a house and then they've got their kitchen and their living room finished, and you have those pictures of people sitting in their dream vacation home or second home or whatever. I mean, that's exactly the touch that we all get, because we're all individuals, and you're selling as an individual to somebody who's individually going to buy and build their own home. I mean, Augie's in the room. He's had his business for 17 years, Augie?
Well, yeah, this is about 15, 16. Yeah, we're closing in on 17.
Yeah, and it's called Creating Wealth USA. So Augie was a banker from New York, for want of a better phrase, moved to Florida, got into the real estate investment world because of his banking mortgage experience, and realized there was a way to help people. So he's grown it from just himself to a pretty sizable organization now, and that's why a lot of people are here. So it's no longer the Augie show. It's his business. He owns it, but you've got a number of trainers under you that's working as well, right, Augie?
Right. Yeah. So we can serve more people.
Yeah. So even though it's a lot about what Augie created, and the same with Tamlin. I mean, it was 1977. That's awesome. So you had the 40 years last year and stuff. But at the same time, growing forward, then it's personal because it's your baby and it's your ideas and your brainchild. But now it's sort of progressed out. So, and I know with you, with Tamlin, the original founders are no longer around, but the 2 current company owners are super passionate about the business. They're just not super passionate about being social, right?
Yeah.
You will never see Paul or Chris on a social media post, realistically.
No.
I know, yeah. Oh, and he's walking in the door. There he is. Hey, Paul. But it's fair to say he's too busy making money and doing deals, and he's got everybody else doing the social media for him. So, but it's bringing the personalities out of the business, which I think really makes the difference. And the reason why you guys make a difference is because each home is unique to the person. Each package is packed by hand. Each package is delivered and signed off for. So there's a lot of personal connection, although it's a bigger company and it's an older company, I would say.
Okay. I guess I didn't really see it that way. I was kind of like we were trying to wrap our brain around how to make sure we had that personal touch, but not to go too far, because it's not just us. It's Tamlin, right?
It is, but as an account manager or a project manager, you own those projects, and so they're really dealing with you as a person. And you've been at Tamlin one of the longest because you really like the company and the culture and the difference that when someone sends you the homes and their house is finished, I mean, you can just see the love in that house because they love it, right?
Yeah, it's fabulous to go to.
Yeah. And that's what inspires us to keep selling more. So that's what I'd say.
Okay, thanks.
But I'm due a visit with you soon, and we'll go deep on that together. I'd love to do that. So awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give some hot seats to some of our new people today because they asked for it on the call. So Amy just arrived. Hi, Amy. I'm going to unmute you. Not to put you on a hot spot, but you were the first on my list. So
woo!
Yeah, you go. Welcome.
I had problems getting in, and that's why I'm so late, so I apologize. But
no worries.
I don't think I had the right link. So anyway.
Okay.
And I was sitting outside of the room, the Zoom room. So just, I was there, but not inside.
No problem. So did you have a question for us?
Well, I think I was assuming that I sent you you were going to look at my webpage or my Facebook page and give me feedback. Was that?
I can absolutely do that. I'd love to. Yeah. Tell me what that is, and then I can find it.
Because we're friends. So it's my personal page. So it's Amy, A-M-Y, Emiko, E-M-I-K-O, Akamine, A-K-A-M-I-N-E.
Got it. Okay. Find you.
Yeah. And yeah, so in general, I have just the personal page. I don't have my business page ready. I am in the process of getting my, brand done, or my LLC brand done. I'm getting a logo made. So that's a work in progress right now, which is why I turned it off.
Okay.
So I think, I guess I don't know what your process is, but.
No. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is great for everybody. So the difference between a personal page and a business page is in the keyword. I mean, personal versus business. The difference comes in that, let me go back one. I'm not sure what happened there. There you go. The difference is between either liking a page or being friends with somebody. So a personal page is where we become friends, and we can see that we have 45 mutual friends. The secret is in the intro. So right now, I get who you are as a person. What we want to, and I get that healthy life next exit, I get that. So at this point, I wouldn't know what you do. I know what some of your values are, and I can see by the look of you that you're very happy and healthy. So to me at this point, I might think, oh, she's a health coach or a personal fitness trainer. I can see your face.
You're right.
Say again?
And you're right.
There you go. So it's working in that respect. But what I also know is that you're working at this company called Realty 320. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of my things, yeah.
Okay. So what we typically do is when you have a business page, we make it your principal employer. So when someone hovers over it, and I'll give you an example of mine just for one of a better one. So this is my personal page. Again, it's a personal picture of my wife and I. You can see my intro, though, is a little different. This is one of life's natural entrepreneurs on a mission to help make stuff happen. So when I go to my About section, the first thing it does here is it says my job title, social media strategist, at this particular page. So that's my principal employment. And then it takes us to my business page, which is likes rather than friends. And straight away, you can see there's a statement for me, there's a picture of me, and very, very different. But here's a couple of ninja tricks that you guys can have from Facebook. When you go to your personal page, you can see these images here. They're called featured images. And so typically we just let people have some photographs here and let Facebook choose. You can choose up to 6 pictures that go here and a video. And out of these pictures, what you can do is, so if I click on this one, it's a graphic that I've created, and it's my story. Find out how I came out of a financial crisis due to a car accident and went to create We Make Stuff Happen. And there's a link straight to my business page from a photograph on my personal Facebook page. And each one of those, this was me speaking at Augie's event that time before last, and said, look for an engaging and fun speaker for your next event. And then it's my Book Me to Speak page. So you can do that with these images. What you can also do is give links to the other social media platforms that you may be on. So I've got all of mine listed here. People get this whether they're my friend or not. This is all public information that I've set. And then it goes into, you know, my posts and so on, which again are typically public. You can see when I change the post, if I was looking at it for a minute, I'd have a little world here, or it would have two heads there, whether it's to friends or to public. So it's the public, and that's how I do. That's how I do personal Facebook. Once you've got your business page up and running, which I would suggest you do really fast, you can start to build a list. But what we don't want to do, we don't want to just get likes on Facebook. We want to try and get their name and their email as well. Because for heaven forbid, Facebook goes down or something changes, or you lose an email or something happens, you can't stay in touch with those people on Facebook because you don't own that list. Whereas you get them into your MailChimp or email or Outlook and start building that list, then you're not beholden to Facebook. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but just you don't own it. Whereas your website and your email list, you own. And that's super, super important.
Right.
So that's where we're going with that. So the picture, the statement, the featured images, even though you haven't got a website yet, could all be referencing to your investment.
Great. So can I just ask, so this is my hot seat, so I can't ask questions. Okay, great, perfect. Okay. So these have to do with regards to my business page and what I'm doing my ideas around what I want to do in general with regards to it, with having to do with brand, and which do I select? I guess probably just trying to get your subject matter expertise. Okay.
You might have heard what Tamlin said earlier on, that people buy from a face, not a logo. So even though you're a company and you would have a brand, I would still have your face being the face of the company. You could always offset the logo to the bottom right corner and have it like a watermark or a vector file so that it's transparent. But you and people are doing business with you. So even on my We Make Stuff Happen page, I have 6 employees and 10 different contractors. We're quite a sizable company. The picture on Facebook is my mugshot. Because in comments, when people are reading what you might say backwards and forwards, that one little thumbnail picture is super important, and it's still my face. So I would always have your picture there, but you could overlay it, as I say, with a logo if you wanted to. Right.
Okay. Thank you for that. But with regards to, because what I'm doing now is my LLC is my name. So it's Amy Acamini LLC. Mm-hmm. So within that, there's a central theme, but I'm looking, and I have, like, in a sense, 3 verticals in general. So, and I won't turn all of them on at the same time. So it's, health and wellness, real estate investments, and then travel. Okay. But the theme is all around best, to be, live, and experience your best.
Okay.
And me as the person, and my brand is all about, you to optimize your life and do these 3 things in the best way possible, whether it's, being healthy, living at the best place, or selecting the right, property, and going and experiencing the best destination. So that's kind of my theme.
Okay. So it's a lifestyle brand in many ways.
Yes.
The danger is that you spread yourself too thin on 3 different areas and you don't go deep on any of them.
Right.
Because not everybody might want to travel. They might hate flying or something like that.
Right.
Some people are very conscious about the health. Some people don't give a crap about the health, to be honest, which is shocking, but it's true.
Right.
But everybody wants to make money. Realistically, I mean, there are a few people that are very holistic and philanthropic and would happily live in a forest and give it all away, but that's tiny. So I would say your main reason for being in this course, and you'll laugh when I say this, but you have to pick a horse and ride it. Right now, you got a buggy with 3 horses, and yes, they can all drive you in the same direction, but one has to be the lead horse, as I understand it. So let's just focus for the next 5 weeks on getting a name for being involved in the real estate industry. And then your point of differentiation against somebody else who's in the real estate industry is that you also care more about the person and the way of doing life. And by working with you, they're going to get all this advantage of how healthy they could be and how they could, what spare time they have to travel and get experiences. And they get that when they work with you. But I would focus on the real estate first.
So, okay. So my question then is, with regards to a business page, is it best to have one, or can you have multiple business pages?
You can have as many as you want. The difficulty comes in having the time to service them all. And,
right.
And the reality of it is, I mean, I as a company, we sell websites, we do SEO, we create graphic design, we train one-on-one. We do a lot of things under that one umbrella. But principally, I focus on my training as a business. That's my main thing that we get the most income out of now. And everything else is secondary to that, but it's still on the same site. So I wouldn't say you can't have multiple business pages, but I would highly recommend to begin with just having one, and maybe have Wellness Wednesday, or, you know, on the weekend talk about travel, but make the key point the real estate investment, but add in extra flavors, if you like, to that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, can I just ask one more question? Sorry.
Very quickly.
Okay. Yep. Just the other question is, within real estate then and investments, that under that brand of, you know, real estate, what I'm looking to do is then focus on one avenue being, you know, buying homes and having a DBA. So I'm assuming, based on what you said, probably the best vehicle and the way to do it on Facebook is to look at positioning myself under that DBA for real estate investment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But in your pictures, I mean, why don't you brand yourself in yoga wear, like on your picture there, sort of thing, and have a suitcase in your hand, you know, and sort of create a brand around the three elements of what you do. And it's like, why is there always a suitcase in a hand on our photographs? It's like, oh, because I also love to travel, and I'm going to show people how to get an income stream of wealth by having multiple rent-to-own properties and stay fit and healthy and travel. You could have create a 3-part brand out of that.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. All right. So I had Ginny next, but I'm looking at the room and I don't, oh, she's back. Yay. Okay. So I'm going to mute Amy and I'm going to unmute Ginny. Hi, Ginny. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Nice to see you in your other half.
Yeah. Actually, I have a business page, but it's really based around me as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And I need to encompass what I'm trying to do here in PAC, really, with investment real estate. And so I find that I do a little bit of both on that page. I'm not sure that I want the primary focus to be as a real estate agent, but more as an investor. And then I've got over an Instagram, it says Ginny Adkins Realtor, but it's connected to my business page. And I often find myself posting personal things on Instagram, and then it ends up on my business page, and I have to share it from my business page to my personal page. So I'm not really sure if I should separate those things and reconnect them. I'm really not sure on, the type of connection, or how okay is it to do a lot of my personal life that I like to share with friends and family through my business, right? Because you don't want too much of one thing and not enough of the other.
Yep, I get it. Okay. So on the I'll answer the Instagram question first. I would have 2 accounts.
Okay.
I would have a personal Ginny Atkins and whatever your business name is, and switch. And it's super easy to do that. You can actually have up to 5 Instagram accounts on the same cell phone.
I did not know that.
Yes, you can. So once you set up one, which is probably the one you've got already, decide if you want to keep that as personal or business. And then when you go to the settings, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the settings, it says add account. And then you can set up a second account for business or personal, whichever way you want to do it. You can have up to 5. You can have more, but Instagram can only handle 5 at one time on a phone for switching.
Sure.
And then depending on your level of privacy, a lot of people want the personal account to be locked down. So only people that, especially if you're sharing things about young children and stuff, make your personal account private and get people to actually ask to join your list. That's okay to do on a personal Instagram. On business, you want to be wide open. And there's actually a different format of business Instagram accounts to personal, because with personal, all you can do is that. But with business, you can add in an email, you can add in an address, you can add in a website, you can add in a calendar. There's lots of different things you can add buttons to on the business. Plus, you get the analytics. So you can see who's following you from what area, what age they are, what gender they are. So it gives you a lot more dynamic integration. And then I'd switch between the two and just think, in the daytime, it's like, is this a personal post or a business post? And that's going to be the choice.
Sure.
Most people just want to see what you do. That's the whole thing with Instagram. It's like, what are you doing right now? So if I was to go and then it goes into Instagram stories or Instagram posts. So I'll cover that off another time.
I was going to say, that doesn't, I'm not even there yet.
No. That's a whole, but I would have two. As far as your business goes, if you're a real estate agent and a real estate investor, does that present a conflict of interest? Because obviously, if you're acting as an agent, you can't go and buy somebody's house. You have to declare that, right?
I can. I just have to let them know that it's for me personally. Yes.
Okay. So so that's not an issue at all for you.
Am I muted, Jonathan?
Please do.
Am I muted?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things I was going to suggest even when Amy was chatting is that you guys, I would think, want to have a brand that says, I am a real estate expert. While I was listening to Amy, I was picturing her in her Halloween costume as the real estate Supergirl. And so, imagine, having fun with it.
Right.
And, Ginny, I could see you on the sidelines at your daughter's soccer game. Soccer mom buys houses. Okay? And not having to say, and lists houses too.
Right.
Right? But when you have a conversation with you, because what's the purpose? You're trying to connect with people.
Yeah.
And if you can present yourselves as real estate experts, real estate specialists, real estate problem solvers, that's what's going to engage with, my impression is that that's what's going to engage with people. And if that engages with people, which is one of our 5 E's, that gives you the opportunity to then educate. And part of what gets them to engage is that you're looking at like someone that's entertaining. Whether you're a soccer mom, standing on the sidelines, jumping up and down, or whether you're in, your leotard with a cape, and buying single family houses, leaping over roofs in a single bound. And we've got Maria. I mean, she should do a thing with cookies. She bakes the most amazing cookies and sends pictures of them and cookies. She sends cookies too sometimes. And it's just awesome. And I think that's kind of what Jonathan is alluding to, that you can be a professional and a person. And believe me, I'm learning this. That's why I'm here. I've been through this whole program before. But, repetition is how we learn everything in life. I stood up and walked about 400 times, I'm sure, before I actually carried the whole prospect off. And then when I was in college, I kind of had some re-experiences of when I learned to walk. But that's another story. But it really does tie back into the 5 E's that Jonathan, is teaching us about. And so if you can make that engaging, because this is really helpful, today's session for me too. So I don't mean to, step all over Ginny's time, but I just wanted to kind of share that perspective.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
in fact,
great input.
Just interesting about who's in the room, and they always for a purpose. There's a lady here called Dolly Gallo, who is down in the Keys, funny enough. She's been a long-term friend of ours and long-time client too. She is a career transition specialist. So get this, Dolly started off as a lawyer, then became a nurse because of the atrocities that she was seeing in the healthcare world from people's accidents and so on. And now she's if it's fair to say, semi-retired, living and working in the Keys, helping restore the coastline and ocean with a husband every day, but at the same time helping people tell a story about who they are at this point in their life. And she's a genius at it. So that's the beautiful thing about these groups, is that there's a lot of people comes into these tables. I mean, Dolly, if you want to unmute yourself for a second, but I'd love your perspective on that as well, actually. There you go.
You'd love my perspective on
wearing multiple hats.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky, but I think for me and for the people that I work with is coming up with that definition of who you are now. And, you know, what it is that you're actually helping people with. Because I'm sort of the living example of what I'm helping people with. And what your life will look like is completely different. But the whole point is to find, you know, the right combination that works for you. And that's going to be different for everybody. So that's where it gets tricky. My life and my stories are just one example of that. How do I convey that to other people? I think, you know, one of the things that I've stumbled on, Jonathan, since we did our interview is just telling other people's stories of what's possible, that can look like. Because that was really fun when we did that together. So
yeah, we all have this great story, right? And
yeah.
all the elements of being a mom, being maybe a sandwich generation with elderly parents, being a divorced single mom or dad. I mean, there's lots of different elements that we bring to the mix that experience is exactly what people need and can identify with because of who we are. So whether it's a corporate business like Tamlin, where Joanne's a long-term employee, she would die for this company because she's so passionate about its success. You know, in the real estate world, you would go out of your way to help somebody, to help them save out of foreclosure and take that over and work with them. So your passion, whatever it is that you do, needs to come out more than anything else. Because yes, it's about making money, but it's not. It's about having a reason to be in business. And more often, the reason that we're in business, our why, if you like, is much deeper than dollar signs. It's because we love to do what we do. And like I spoke about Augie the other day, I'm pretty sure he could spend 6 months in Hawaii right now and then 3 months by his pool and another 3 months on the golf course if he wanted to. But he doesn't. He wants to help as many people as he can with the knowledge that he's got. Oh yeah, he gets paid for it, but that's okay. He's passionate about what he does. And you can see my hands. I mean, I can't stand still. I'm passionate about what I do, and everybody knows that. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure that most people are not going to be passionate about slogging through the mud and picking up small pieces of plastic trash off the shorelines. But there is something that's going to get you to do that, to slog through your own mud in life and to help other people find a way to do that for themselves. So that's kind of what I would add to that.
Well, on behalf of all Floridians, thank you for protecting the coastline of the Keys. And we're sorry that your garden got absolutely ruined last year, and it's coming back.
It is coming back.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Jenny, was that really helpful? We went long.
It was. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, next person I've got is Claudette, who's sitting out on her deck. Lucky you. Hi, Claudette. One sec. There we go. Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Got it.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I kind of got booted out because I homeschool and my daughter's in there and I didn't want to disturb her, so this is my office for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have both a website and a Facebook business and personal. Now, yesterday I spent the day working on my the Facebook business page. So I did some little things to it. I don't know if I did it right or not, but
is it okay if we have a look?
Please.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me what it's called.
It's Sun Cascade Properties.
we go. Oh, I know. I recognize the logo now. Yes, I remember.
Yep.
All right. It'll come up in a second. All right. So, you know what I said about people buy from people, not logos?
Yes. I know.
And that's a very, very busy logo. And I know your daughter designed it, and I know you're very proud of it.
Yes, I am.
But honestly, it's too busy.
Okay.
I would have maybe the wings and the SC in the bottom low corner as a transparent. But I
Okay.
would not have that as your main icon because I like your page. But when it's a thumbnail in a conversation, you're not going to see any of that.
Okay.
It's interesting that you've got a slideshow too of pictures.
Yeah.
It's cool. To me, it's incredibly distracting because this is a business page.
All right.
Almost every single one of these pictures is personal. Not there's anything wrong with personal, but I think in this instance, just because you can doesn't mean to say you should. So I wouldn't do the slideshow, and if I was, I would do it a view outside properties.
Okay.
But I truthfully wouldn't do it as it is now because it's too much. Then the other thing about this is I always then go to the about page.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got an address, which is great. I've got an email, which is good. I've got a phone number. I've got a website. So all of this is bang on.
Okay.
That's bang on. So good job for that. But this to me it's super it's interesting, but it's distracting. And I think we have like 0.3 of a second to make the right impression. And I think if somebody arrived and got to the page and started seeing the slideshow, they'd probably, unless they knew you and wanted to see the picture, they'd probably leave.
Okay.
And we don't want that. We want them to stay. So it's a new page. We're trying to build it. What we want to do is give them opportunities to want to stay and to want to learn more about you. And right now, all of these pictures is your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is not helping anybody because the timeline's cluttered. What you can do is, even though they're in your timeline, you can hide them. So I can't do it on your page because I'm not an admin, but in this page here, there's 3 dots in this top. Just click and hide those posts. So it cleans up your timeline. So it's not cluttered, because what you really want is the first picture here needs to be what you do. And you can do that by, again, when you click on those 3 dots, you can call something, it's all pinned to the top. And this first post should really be your mission statement or what it is that you do, and it stays there. So no matter what else you put underneath, that one pinned post stays to the top. So that's the first thing I'd say. And let's just have a quick look at your web. So there we go. Okay, a couple of things. Nice thing is you have a HTTPS, which is great. For those of you who don't, if you're looking at a website now and you see this box saying not secure, it's because it's not on what Google defined as a secure server, and that's what the S stands for. Doesn't mean to say it won't work, but what it does mean is that Google download your website, and when they look at it, it downgrades it because it's not necessarily as secure as it could be. So here we go. We buy houses in Central Florida, any price range, any condition. We can close quickly and pay full price. We provide peace of mind. Okay, so I get that. And then we got to, again, not sure. It's the same slideshow?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we already had that conversation, but your phone number's there. It's a hot link. Your email's there. It's a hot link.
Can I just say one thing? The only reason why I put the slideshow in is because you said to tell our story. So that's how I was trying to. So
and
how can I?
Right. The story comes under the About Me.
Okay.
So so under the Who We Are piece, this is where I would have. I am Claudette. I'm married to whoever. We have 3 children.
If you
we live
scroll down.
This is what we
down
do.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have that at the top.
Okay.
You can see when I'm looking at the screen, I couldn't see that. Whereas if I had the text at the top, I would be able to read that. So you've got it right. I would just reverse it. And then if you wanted to, put the slideshow at the bottom. And I would do it that way around. I definitely wouldn't have it on the homepage. This needs to be pictures of properties, ugly properties, nice properties. satisfied people that have worked with you. That's the message that you need to get across on that page.
Okay.
But good job for getting into it.
Thank you.
Very impressed that you've jumped out of the gate and started. That's awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
By the way, these calls are all recorded. You get a copy of it. So if I speak quickly and you can't write it down, it's coming back. So that's good. You can see a lady here called Queenie Tan, and she's eating her dinner. You might think that's kind of weird. She lives in Spain. So right now it's probably, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night. No, she doesn't live in Spain. She's moved again. So for those of you who are homeschoolers, Queenie is a world schooler. She's an international speaker who speaks at kids' conferences all around the world, and she takes her 2 boys with her. And wherever she gets to speak, she typically stays in that country for a while. And last week she was in Spain. Obviously, I can't keep up with her. She's probably got a mouthful of Chinese food anyway. But her title is Asia's Leading Parenting Coach. And this is the beauty of the internet. This is somebody who I think I know really well. We've never met in person. Hopefully we will one day. But we've known each other for several years through a mastermind, and she's one of our star students. And so much so that she's getting an international award in Hong Kong in March for the work that she does that was only discovered because of her social media and her Facebook videos and her blog, and all of that she learned out of this course. So, hey, Queenie. There you go. All right, so next I've got Tim. Tim's in the room. I'm going to unmute Tim. Hey, Tim. Oh, there we go. Oh, you do it or I'll do it. I don't mind which. There you go. You do it.
Okay, I got it.
Tim Schmidt, right? No, Tim Davis.
Tim Davis.
Tim Davis.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Jonathan. So let's take a look at my Facebook page.
By all means, yeah.
I was noticing something that, as you were speaking earlier.
So let me find you first.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's your personal page, and we're friends.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, so under there, you mentioned to link your businesses, which
yes.
I've got those linked, but for some reason when you go to the first one, the actual page doesn't come up.
No.
Metro.
No. So what that means is that somebody, may even have been you, has set that up as a location. You can see the little flag there, but it's not the actual business page. And then you can see here, all these job titles are highlighting as hot links. So
right.
I think is this one of your pages here?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Okay. So you in your about section, when you go into my about section, you go to edit. You want to make your principal employment the name of your business page, and you get that by putting the @ up first, and then you start typing. The business page should pop up.
Okay.
You just overloaded the box, and nobody can know what to do from this because there's just too many options. But I think the one option we're looking for isn't actually coming up, right?
Well, that's one of them. I've got three businesses that I'm connected with, and 2 of them are similar. They're both property management companies, and the other one is a construction company. Okay.
So we've got a couple of websites here. So is one of these websites the business that you're talking about?
One of them is one of the businesses. The other one is the All County Metro is the one that I wasn't connecting with.
Okay. And that's the one that you want to find. Okay, so all County Metro.
Yeah, I know it's out there because I've seen the page.
Okay, let's see if we can find it. So we go to pages, and then this is, so it's not easily found for me right now. Could you put a link to it in the chat box so I could find it?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
That might help me because it's not easily found at this point.
Okay.
If you just take the header box and we can copy it over, that would be awesome. Can you do 2 personal business pages on a Facebook page? Yeah, you can do multiple. You just need, in the pecking order, you want the top one to be your principal. Otherwise, people are going to get confused. Yeah. If you could find that, Tim, that'd be awesome. not seeing it.
I had it earlier. Let's see if I
Okay.
can.
Well, how about I jump on to Glenda, and then we'll come back to you. How about that? If you drop it in the chat.
Okay,
box,
that's fine.
waiting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know Ashlyn's here and Glenda's here. I don't think they have cameras on their computers in their office, but they might have a mic. So maybe Glenda, you could unmute yourself and tell us what the question might be.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Good to hear your British accent.
Good. Okay, I'm thinking about the website, and primarily we want to attract 3 different types of people on our on social media, but we don't want to necessarily give them mixed messages. I mean, you know, we're looking for sellers that can't sell, buyers that can't buy, you know, private money lenders. How would you go about that on your website and social media? How would you segregate that so that you're not upsetting anybody or sending mixed messages?
That's a great question. This is where typically on a website we have 5 boxes across the top, and that's what we call a wireframe of a website. So obviously the first one is typically about us, and it might be a contact us box, and then you have 3 others. So if you have 3 ideal clients, you might want to have 3 tags across the top that specifically relate to them. So it could be real estate investing, I need to sell a house, I want to buy a house, let's just say. So the tags are simply in the menu. And then when they drop down, those specific pages relate to those topics. Sometimes on a website, you can have what's called a slider box at the top. So if you had 3 very clear statements, you might want to have that slider box every 3 seconds change so that when somebody's looking at the website for the first 5-6 seconds, they get the 3 elements and then they see the menu item. The other thing is too is when you write a blog, you can separate your blog into categories. So very specifically, let's just say buying a house. So you would categorize all of those blogs specifically so that when someone goes into the blog section, they will get related blogs around that subcategory rather than everything. So there's a good way of, so typically when we build a website, we wireframe where everything is going to go and who should be reading it. So in the design process, we can make that very, very transparent, if that helps.
Okay, and what about conveying that onto other social media, like on Facebook?
Yeah, so
for example,
what a lot of clients do is there's a science behind color. So what we often do when we brand somebody, and we did this with Lexi recently, and is that different types of a business have a different background color. So it could be pale yellow, pale blue, darker blue. And what we do subliminally is we categorize our posts with graphic design with a color that relates to that topic. And you'll see this a lot on Instagram now. When you go to Instagram, you'll see certain colors popping up, and they're brand colors, but those brands can relate to types of subcompartmentalized business. And very soon on the website, there might be more of a yellow wash, and then the other page is more of a blue wash or a darker blue wash or purple. And those people will get to see, oh, all the yellow stuff really relates to me. And then we bring that yellow code into the Instagram posts and the web page and the Facebook post, so there's a subliminal connection, and it can work really well.
Okay. So everything is about Titan and the brand and what we do and everything, and then when people want to go deep, that's when they click, and that's when the colors.
Oh, sorry.
There's Ashlyn.
I got your business card in my hand.
There's Glenda. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Thank you, Jonathan.
So even on this, I mean, you've got red, yellow, and gray already. If you keep with those colors, maybe use yellow, the red, not a bright red, but a friendly red, and the gray, and that might be the three color palette that you start off with straight away.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Awesome. And for those of you who are in the other boot camp, it's like, wow, there's a lot about real estate. Yes, it is. But the marketing principles that I'm talking about, just substitute the word real estate for ideal client. For you, it's exactly applicable. And I'm trying to hit, that kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm trying to kill 3 birds with 3 stones, but you get it, right? Anyway, I think I got a flashback from Tim, so let me bring that up. Awesome. So funny how Old County Metro just didn't, maybe it's fairly new, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go and share this one now because it's coming up. Okay. There we go. Awesome. So all county property management. Okay, Tim, the first thing I would say is that this is your business, making renting easy with the all county. I mean, that's good, but this isn't Tim. This looks like Mr. Professional Realtor, who I don't know. So Tim, is this a stock photo that you picked, or is this somebody who works for you?
Actually, that is something that our corporate office, we have it's a franchise.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
they kind of created that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there a way of asking them to use the same template but substitute you into this?
Probably I could.
Because as soon as I see that picture in my brain, it's like, that's a stock picture. This isn't a company that's going to get me because it's a conglomerate. We want to make it personal. So that would be my first comment. My second comment, obviously, is can you get your name, at least your name or your picture, into the All County? Is it because you own this? This is your personal page that you own, right? Even though you're branding it with them.
This is that.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you just then.
That's one of the business pages.
Okay. And but it's your business page, or is it one that you just work for?
That's correct. No, that's ours. And then the All County Polk page would probably be about the same.
Okay. So Metro relates to
two
the
separate
area.
offices. Correct.
Ah, interesting. Okay. So first of all, there's that pinned post I was talking about. So this keeps this post right in front of people. It's been there a long time. And sometimes when I see a post that's been there nearly a year, it's like, did they forget to unpin it? Or is this still relevant? So sometimes it's better to go in and just update that post a little bit and repin it with a new date because it's been there nearly a year.
Okay.
This is good. I mean, is that a typical home in Florida that people could relate to? Maybe.
No, that's not.
I don't think so. Yeah, so to me,
That
that's
looks like a Canadian. It looks like a Canadian home, doesn't it?
Well, it could be in the Carolinas or Georgia or something, but it looks a little bit more estate home than Florida home to me, looking at the roof line and the trees. So we have to relate to, and so these are those posts that I was saying, you can hide these posts because these mean nothing. We put them in there because we have to set it up, but they don't need to be in your timeline, so you can hide those posts. And then when we get to, obviously this is a page that hasn't been used for a while. It's fine to say hello May on May 1st, but we need some new content in here, for this month. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, I just did a post, just as an example, I try and do a motivational post every single morning, partially to give myself a kick in the behind, but equally so to motivate my list. And today's a new month, and you're welcome to go over and share this. It's also, if you're in the faith world, it's All Saints Day, the day after All Hallows Eve, or Halloween as it became. So to me, it's kind of my way of saying I get it. But it's November, it's All Saints Day, and I wish people a fabulous month. This has only been up, I don't know, a couple of hours, and I've got a lot of engagement on this already, as you can see. Yesterday, I did a summary of Halloween, got a lot of engagement. You do not want to see the picture that my daughter shared of me of running around, well, maybe you do. I was doing a Mrs. Doubtfire impression. This got ridiculous engagement, and just because it was fun. So that's next week is like the entertain piece. But then I go to, I'm looking for it, the second motivational quote. I post quite a bit. Oh, there we go, this one. Again, this was 2 days ago, but again, you can see the kind of engagement I'm getting on a personal page because I'm that positive influence. And that's where you want to start out. You want to start out as that positive influence. And then, so that's the engage piece. Then entertain people, which obviously, I'm doing with the entertain piece. Then it gets to the educate piece, which is where it gets over to the business page. So there's 3 elements to personal posting that could make a big difference, that speaks louder than words. And most people now see I've got this stupid, insane sense of humor running around my house in an old nightgown with my wife's bikini on, with shaving foam on my face and an old gray wig, pretending to be Mrs. Doubtfire. Has that got anything to do with social media training? 100%. Because you're laughing, right? That's the entertain piece of this 5-step strategy. The engage piece, which is week 1, which for you guys as a recap, it's all about conversation. In some ways, it doesn't really matter what the conversation is, as long as it goes deep. And then as you build rapport, then it gets deeper. So I've seen Joanne and Tamlin share a picture out of a hotel room of a street in Vancouver and saying, I love this city. I've seen a picture of her with a glass of wine saying, I deserve this. That's what makes Joanne, even though she's a corporate. I've seen pictures of Augie in his backyard, and I've had the privilege of standing now in his backyard and going down to the creek and seeing this ancient, native land sort of that his area was built on, and you could just feel that. Those are the subliminal connections that make you want to stay in touch with somebody. So Tim, that's what I'm sure, man, you've got personality like no tomorrow. I can see it in your goatee and your hair and your hat. I want to know who Tim is and bring that out, and it's going to be awesome. Does that help?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, I just looked at my clock. I get very passionate. I don't wear a watch deliberately because I just like to serve, but I do try and respect people's time, and I realize it's just gone 11. So I had Pam on my hot list. I'm going to save you for next time, Pam, if that's okay. I'm sorry I've run out of time. If you have a question, put it in the Facebook group. I promise I'll get to it. But if not, you'll be at the first hot seat next week, or we might even have time at the end of Tuesday to do that. I hope this has helped everybody. You're both in your own Facebook group. Send whatever you want, to me. I'm here. My team's here. We'll help you many, many which ways we can. I got your message yesterday, Renee, about this message from the universe. We'll have to talk about that. Love it. Okay, and can we do a hot seat for me on Facebook? Yeah, for sure. We'll do that next week. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for this week, and we will talk to you again real soon. I'll send this recording into your group very soon. Bye for now. Thanks, everyone.